Okay, so this is an example of an instructional resource that I'm going to do a screencast of in order to add some additional information and clarification for my students. This is a French 4 grammar piece, so grammar slideshow, and I'm going to highlight this one particular slide and what follows really for a lower level audience than necessarily the French 4, but it will serve our purposes for right now. So what we have is an explanation in a PowerPoint version which explains forming questions in French, and it begins with the simplest way to form a question in French, which is simply to use the way one intones a sentence to ask a question. So rising intonation, simplest way to ask a question. Say the same words as the statement when making a statement and raise your pitch at the end. So, do you know my friend Pascal? Similarly, in French, we would say, tu connais mon ami Pascal? Our example from a cultural video shown for the French 4 students would be, et pourquoi ce ne serait pas vous d'abord? A more complicated but same idea. So you can ask a simple question by simply restating a statement with intonation, with adding emphasis at the end of your statement. So he's an idiot becomes he's an idiot in terms of forming a question. And so we're going to expand on that in terms of the structure of French by looking at a slightly more formal way of asking a question, which is using the phrase est-ce que. Okay, so you can use intonation for an informal question, just using the tone of your voice to make a statement a question, or you can add est-ce que in front of a statement, which is a slightly more formal way, and inversion is the third pattern of phrasing a question in French, which is even more formal than that. So this is kind of a middle ground in terms of asking everyday questions. So est-ce que is the expression that we're looking to teach students. Okay, so we're going to move on to the specific instruction in this PowerPoint. This PowerPoint does not have audio, so it's purely a visual aid for students. So screencasting it is very useful in terms of adding a little extra instruction. So obviously we're repeating information here in terms of, hey, you can use est-ce que to phrase a question, but what does that really mean? And what do students need to know in terms of following up on that instruction? So est-ce que in front of a statement makes it a yes-no question. So est-ce que vous prenez des risques? Est-ce que vous prenez des risques? Do you take risks? So the do helping verb in English is replaced by est-ce que in French. Similarly, is he 5 years old? In French, est-ce qu'il a 5 ans? Does he have 5 years? Is the French phrasing. So again, that helping verb in this case is or does. Does he have 5 years as a literal translation? Is he 5 years old as an everyday translation? So est-ce que represents both of those things. Okay, literally we're talking about, is it that? Is it that you take risks? Is it that he has 5 years? That's the direct translation of this phrasing that we're looking to have students learn and practice. So est-ce que in everyday usage. Est-ce que vous prenez des risques? Est-ce qu'il a 5 ans? So a phrase used to introduce a yes-no question. So as part of a screencast, part of what students get confused about with this particular structure in French is, obviously we have a literal translation of is it that in front of a statement, but in English, in everyday usage, this can translate multiple ways. You can translate it as a helping verb do, it can translate it as a helping verb is, it can translate as a helping verb has or have. It really depends on the context. And so you can take the screencast and elaborate on it and say, okay, well, let's look at some multiple verb phrases. Okay, est-ce que ton père est médecin? Is it that your is it that your father is a doctor? Obviously in English we would say, is your father a doctor? Okay, est-ce qu'il fait du soleil? Is the weather sunny? Is it sunny? Literally, is it that it is sunny out? Est-ce qu'il y a un ciné? Is there a movie theater? Is there a cinema? Again, is as a helping verb in this yes/no question expression. Est-ce qu'il y a un ciné dans cette ville? Est-ce que vous vendez des piles? Is it that you sell batteries? So if you want to walk into a store and ask the question, do you sell batteries? Est-ce que, is it that you sell batteries? Do you sell batteries? Okay, that helping expression is expressed with est-ce que, is it that in French. And those multiple translations need to be understood by English speakers as a way to ask a yes or no question in French.